Hello, my name is Francisco. I'm a massage therapist at Gleneagles Country Club at the Healthy Lifestyle Center Spa. Today I'm going to be covering a few tips and techniques about how to work on somebody's arms, forearms and hands. These techniques are going to help you, so whether you can show somebody how to do it on your own, on yourself, or you can help somebody else and do it on their own arms and hands. So I'm gonna move on to working on somebody's arm right now. So just give me a second. All right, so right here we have the forearms. We have different muscles that work opposite of each other. We have the flexor muscles that basically flex your fingers, and we have the extensor muscles on the top part of your forearms. So we're gonna start with the flexors muscles first. You don't have to use any lotion or anything, but if you do have lotion available, you can add a little bit so you don't feel like you're grinding up on your skin, because some people might feel it's a little uncomfortable. For the purpose of the video, we're not using any lotion. So first technique that we can use for the forearms, right here, you have all these muscles in here. There's several muscles. We're not gonna get into detail with them. You can use your thumb, starting by the wrist area. You're gonna press your thumb against the skin of the person's arm, and you're gonna move upward towards your elbow, or towards their elbow, just like that. So you're gonna press and move towards the elbow. One tip that can show you whether you're actually working on the muscle is when you put pressure on the flexors and you're going against their action, they're gonna do the opposite action. So basically, instead of flexing, they're gonna be extending your fingers, and you're gonna see the fingers of the person's arm moving and opening up. You don't care? Yeah. All right, so that's the thumb technique. Another technique, and it might be a little easier for some people, is to use the base of the palm of your hand, put it again in the same spot by the wrist. You can either keep your fingers up or you can wrap them around, as long as you don't have a hard grip on it. And basically, you are gonna do the same pressure. You're gonna press against the skin and go up towards the elbow. You're essentially stripping tension from the elbow or from the forearm. Just like that. You can do this a couple times. You can do a few strokes. You can do many strokes, however you feel comfortable and however your partner feels comfortable with. Also, before I move forward, one thing that I forgot: make sure that you're placing either your hand underneath their forearm or underneath the wrist joint, just to make it a little bit more comfortable for the other person. So just like this, you see my hand underneath. All right, so now we're gonna move forward. So we have the thumb, and we also have the base of your palm, just like that. All right, so another technique that you can use for the size of your forearm here, in the top in here, you can use a kneading motion. Basically, you're gonna make like a C with your hand, and you're gonna grab, and you're pulling the muscle tissue away from the center, which is attached to the bone structure. So all you're doing is like a kneading. You grab and pull. You can go all the way up towards the elbow, and then you can come back, just like this. You can alternate. You can change hands to do the top part of your partner's forearm. And in a little bit, we're gonna get more in detail on this part. Just like this. So it's a kneading, grab, pull, and release, and grab, pull, and release. So you can do this again as many times as you want. You can do it a couple times, 2, 3 times, and move forward. If you have more time, you can always do more. All right, so now we worked on the flexors muscles of your forearms. Now we're gonna turn around. We're gonna work on the extensors. For some people, this part might be more sensitive. Some people might not be as sensitive. So the pressure light to medium. You can always communicate with your partner and ask them if the pressure is okay, and then readjust from there. Some people might want more pressure. Some people might want less pressure. And you might not be able to give them as much pressure, but you adjust accordingly. So for this part, we're gonna first do the kneading. So we're gonna start right here, and again, it's a grab, pull, and release. Grab, pull, and release. Same concept. You make a C with your hands, and you just grab the tissue right there. And you go back and forth. You go all the way towards the wrist. It gets a little tricky here because it's a smaller area, but you do the same motion. Just like this. Alright, so another technique that you could use is you can either use your thumb and do like a circular motion. You can find those hard spots. They might feel a little sensitive for some people, and you can just do little small circular motions in here. And you go down the same muscle line right here, and all the way until you reach the wrist area. You do not want to put too much pressure in your wrist area or anybody's wrist area because it's a joint. You might hurt somebody. So remember, not putting any pressure on your wrist area. So right here, this is as far as we go. And then you can do this on one side and do it on the other side too. You can follow the line from the elbow all the way to the wrist area, and then move to the other side and go from the wrist area all the way to the elbow area again. So it's like running in a one-way lane. You know, you go one way and you go the other lane. So you can do this as much as you want. Again, at least go one follow through and just do the whole thing. And then if you want to repeat, you can always repeat it again. So hold on. Another thing that you can do is a simple technique. You can grab the top of the forearm with your thumbs, and you can kind of like pull away from the center, kind of stripping tension away, just like this, all the way again towards the wrist area. And then you can just do like a quick swift, and then you're gonna be moving towards the hand. So here we have the hand area. You have the top part of your hand, which actually we're gonna cover first because we were on the top part of the forearm. So in between your fingers, which are also called the digits, you have a ridge, a space in between, even inside your hand right here. So with your thumb, you're gonna trace that empty space. It's not empty, that space, all the way until it exits out in between the space in your fingers right here. So you have 4 spaces in your hand right here. So you're gonna trace all 4 like this with your thumb. You're gonna keep moving all the way to the thumb area of the person in here. There's a space in here you can grab with your thumb and index finger, just like this, and kind of like press and pull and then release. This also, this is an area where you can do this on somebody else or you can do it on your own, and it helps with releasing headaches. It helps with releasing tension in your head, and it helps you with your stress. Alright, so now for the fingers, all we're doing right now, we're gonna try as best as we can to immobilize the rest of the fingers. We're gonna work one of them at a time. So one of them, we're gonna grab them with our opposite hand, and we're just gonna do some small circular motion at the base of that finger by the knuckle area. And you can go both ways. You can go right first and then left first, or left first and then right first, or right after. After that, you're just gonna kind of like squeeze lightly the finger, kind of like stripping the tension away from the finger. Alright, and that's it for the fingers, and you're gonna do that on every single finger of the person's hand. And when you move around, make sure that you somewhat immobilize the other fingers, because what happens is, if you don't, you're moving the whole hand. You're still doing some motion, but you're not targeting as much that finger as you want to. And then after you do that motion, you strip the finger, and then you move to the next one. You might feel like the joint on the fingers might be cracking a little bit on somebody's hand. That's perfectly natural. You don't want to put too much force into the movement. It's a very light movement. It's just to give them some motion in those fingers. And then you strip. And that's it. We'll go to the index finger. You move. And then you strip. Then we go to the thumb area. Thumb area is a very important joint that you need to keep strong and keep healthy. Alright, so now we're gonna turn the palm of the hand of the person around, and we're gonna have the open palm. You can interlock your fingers with their fingers, kind of like this, to kind of open up the hand like this, or you can just put your hands like this, and make sure your thumbs are gonna be in the center of the person's palm, because what you're gonna do now is you're gonna do some circular motions to kind of strip the tension away from the center of the palm of your hands and going outwards. So you're doing essentially alternate circular motions. You go one side first and then the other, just like this. So when you're done with the base of the palm of your hand, you can go here to the base of your fingers, around your knuckle area on the opposite side. Right here, you can put a little pressure, do a singular motion or circular motion, and strip all the way to the top of the finger, all the way to the tip. And then you strip away the tension. The idea is that whatever is concentrated inside the hand, it moves away through the fingers. Fingers, think of it as an exit to all that tension. So same thing with all the other fingers. They're all gonna have this base in here on the knuckle area, and you press, you do some singular motions, and then you kind of strip. It's a slow motion. And then we'll move to the middle finger now. And and then you strip. Move to the middle or to the fourth finger and strip. Ring finger. Move to the pinky and then strip. Alright, and if you feel like you want to do a little bit more on the hand, you can always target a little more specific underneath all the fingers. You know, you can focus a little bit more time on each part. And then again, you use as much time as you want to use, you know, just to make sure that you release enough tension, enough stress, the person feels much better. Then once you're done, you know, you can always go around the edge of the hand. And then once you're done, you turn around, you rest the person's hand on your hand. You tell the person to take a deep breath and exhale, and make sure you're working on your breathing. And you then release, and that's it. Okay, and now for the purpose of the video, I just did one person's hand. I always say that whatever you do on one side, you do it on the other side. So if you're working on somebody's right arm and you're done with that arm, then you move to the next arm, to the left arm. And that's it. For now, simple tips to work on your forearm. Remember to use a thumb to strip. You can always use the palm, the base of the palm of your hand to also help. Same motion, same movement as the thumb. You can do that on the inside of your forearm, which is the flexors, or in the outside also, which is the extensor. Remember for your fingers or for your hands, on the top of your hand, you have the ridges right here in between. Make sure you trace all that, and then make sure you're working on top of the fingers of the person. Make sure you do the circular motion both ways, and then straight, just like that. For the palm of your hand, make sure you're working using your thumb, working to strip that tension away from the center of your palm of your hand. And then make sure you can also target the base of the fingers all the way to the exit. All right, so that's it for now, and stay safe, stay indoors, and have a good day.